For this assignment, you're going to be making a DNA to protein model to show the difference between DNA, chromosomes, and genes, and what part is responsible for making a protein. So this first page is just giving you some references so that you can see pictures of these different structures. And if you look, we've got the cell. Inside the cell is nucleus. Inside the nucleus are chromosomes. Here are the chromosomes a little bigger. And chromosomes are just coiled up DNA. So if you coil it up, then that's what a chromosome is. And then when you stretch out the DNA, there's different sections of DNA that we call genes. And a gene is just a section of DNA that codes for a protein. So you already learned that DNA has these base pairs, and that is actually a code or recipe to make a particular protein. And then that protein is what creates your traits, because your hair, your skin, everything is made out of protein. So if it makes a protein that gives you like a pigment is a protein. And if it makes more of that, then you'll be darker skinned or darker hair. Less of that, it'll also determine your coloring for your eyes. Proteins determine your blood type, your basically everything to do with your body. So that's what genes are. They're recipes to make proteins, and proteins make you. Here's another picture. Here's a cell nucleus. Inside the nucleus is a chromosome, and here it's trying to show that when the chromosome is uncoiled, that's the DNA, and a section of it is a gene. Same thing, another picture. And this is showing that when the DNA sequence is correct, then it makes the right protein. But if there's an error, like for instance here, it should be AAA and this is AAT or AAC, then that can affect the protein that is made, and that can cause disease. Okay, so your assignment is to make a DNA to protein model, and you're going to be using some sort of string or yarn or thread, something long, and you're going to be using that for your DNA. You'll need to, so you want to show a cell, a nucleus, chromosomes, and then somehow those chromosomes need to be uncoiled a little bit to show DNA, and then you need to mark off the genes and then show a protein. I'm going to show you an example. This one I did. It's a little hard to see, but this is yarn, and I coiled yarn around a toothpick. If you don't have a toothpick, you can just sort of coil it. Actually, I don't know if there's a toothpick in there. But I tried to show that DNA, when it's coiled up, is called a chromosome. And then I drew my cell, and I drew a nucleus, and I drew some chromosomes in there the same color as my yarn. If you don't have yarn, just any kind of string or anything would work. And then I uncoiled some of this chromosome to show that the uncoiled part is DNA. Actually, the whole thing is DNA, but we just call it a chromosome when it's coiled up. And then I tried to mark off a section of this DNA, because that section that codes for a protein is called a gene. So I marked that as gene. And then I made my protein. Now, proteins are chains of amino acids. And so I just found these happen to be pieces of a gummy vitamin, but it could be anything. And it could be little circles, beads, it could be beans, it could be just pieces of something, but each one is representing an amino acid, and that chain of amino acids is what we call a protein, and that protein is what ends up making your traits. So your blood type, your hair, your skin, your your enzymes and hormones, all of those things are proteins, and that's what makes you. Okay, so this is an example. If you want to copy it, that's fine. If you want to do your own version, that's fine. The only thing is that you need to make sure that you have all of these structures shown and labeled. And then what you're going to do is you're going to answer these questions after you make your model. And it should be pretty easy to answer these questions because you just look at your model to find the answers. Okay. If you have any other questions, feel free to text me on Remind or email me. And I hope you have fun.